I ruined my brother's wedding, and I still don't regret it. My name is Chloe, I'm 26, and I ruined my brother's wedding. People in my family say it like a crime, like I walked into the church with a baseball bat. What I actually did was tell the truth into a microphone. My brother Daniel has always been the golden child. Growing up, if he breathed near a trophy, my parents acted like he'd single-handedly won the Olympics. I was the dramatic one, too sensitive, likes to stir the pot. Daniel could skip class, crash the car, talk back, and somehow he was just stressed. If I so much as raised my voice, I was ungrateful. So when he introduced Emily 3 years ago, my parents practically adopted her on the spot. She was sweet, soft-spoken, the kind of person who remembers everyone's birthday and actually brings a homemade cake. She and I got close fast. We had wine nights, talked about work, cried about life. She told me more than once, "You're the only one in his family who feels normal." When they got engaged, everyone called it the perfect couple, finally making it official. I smiled for pictures and helped pick bridesmaid dresses, but there was a knot in my stomach I couldn't name. Little things kept bothering me. The way Daniel would snap at her in private, then joke it off in public. The way she'd go quiet and stare at the floor when he teased her weight or her clothes or her job. The way my parents brushed it off as, "That's just how siblings talk. They're comfortable," when I pointed it out. I told myself I was projecting, that I was being too sensitive again. I almost gaslit myself into believing everything was fine. Almost. 2 months before the wedding, I went over to their apartment to drop off centerpieces. Emily wasn't home. Daniel was in the shower. His phone buzzed on the counter, lighting up with a message preview. "Last night was insane. Can't believe you're marrying her, lol." My whole body went cold. I shouldn't have looked, I know that. But I did. I opened the chat. There were months of messages with a contact saved as M. Explicit texts, hotel receipts, photos I can't unsee. He'd been cheating on Emily for at least a year with a coworker he'd told Emily was like a little sister. Mixed in with the sexting were messages that made me feel physically sick. Him calling Emily boring, needy, dead in bed. Him complaining that she cries too much when he jokes about her body. Him saying, "Once the wedding's done, I'll have her locked down, then we can really have fun." I didn't even hear the shower turn off. I only snapped back when I felt him in the doorway. "The hell are you doing?" he snapped. I just held up the phone. "Are you serious, Daniel?" I whispered. For a moment he looked panicked, then his face hardened. "You went through my phone? You're insane, Chloe." He grabbed it from me. "It's nothing. Just messing around. Guys talk like that. Don't ruin this for mom and dad with your drama." I told him I was going to tell Emily. He laughed in my face. "No, you're not. No one is going to believe you over me, and if you try, I'll tell everyone you're jealous and trying to sabotage me like always." That night I called my mom, voice shaking, and told her everything. There was a long silence. Then, "Whatever is going on between Daniel and Emily is their business," she said. "Do not destroy our family over something you don't understand. If you love your brother, you'll keep your mouth shut." That was the moment I realized I was on my own. I tried to stay out of it. I really did. I spent the next weeks going back and forth in my head. Tell her, don't tell her, send screenshots, stay quiet. Every time I looked at Emily, my throat closed up. She kept saying things like, "I can't wait to spend the rest of my life with my best friend," while showing me photos from their engagement shoot. I'd open my mouth to say, "He's cheating," and my mom's voice would ring in my ears, "Do not destroy our family." The night before the wedding, at the rehearsal dinner, Daniel gave this speech about loyalty and choosing each other every day, looking straight at Emily like he believed it. Everyone cried. I went to the bathroom and threw up. On the wedding day, I stood at the front in a bridesmaid dress watching Emily walk down the aisle looking absolutely radiant. I watched my brother smile like a man who had never done a wrong thing in his life. The officiant did the whole routine. When he got to the part, "If anyone here knows of a reason why these two should not be wed, speak now or forever hold your peace." My heart started pounding so loud I could barely hear. That line is supposed to be ceremonial. No one actually uses it. You're not supposed to say anything. I remember thinking, if I stay silent, I'm choosing his comfort over her entire life. My hand went up before my brain fully caught up. "I do," I heard myself say. It came out too loud in the echo of the church. Everything stopped. Emily turned, confused. Daniel's face went white. My mother's hand flew to her mouth. Walking up to the front felt like walking into a fire. My legs were shaking, but my voice somehow wasn't. "Emily," I said, ignoring everyone else. "I'm so sorry to do this here. But you deserve to know who you're marrying. Daniel hissed, "Chloe, sit down," under his breath. I kept going. I told her about the messages, the hotel receipts, the way he talked about her behind her back. I had printed screenshots in my clutch because some part of me knew I'd chicken out if I didn't have proof. I handed them to her with trembling hands. The silence in that church. I'll hear it forever. You could hear the paper crinkle as she read. Her face went from confused to pale, to something I can only describe as shattered. She looked at Daniel and asked very quietly, "Is this real?" He started in with his usual performance. "Baby, she's lying. She's always hated me. This is Photoshop. She's sick." But the more he talked, the more people's faces changed. My dad tried to grab my arm. I pulled away. My mom started sobbing, not for Emily, but for what I was doing to the family. Emily's father walked up, took the papers from her hand, read them, then turned and punched Daniel so hard he fell into the chairs. The wedding was over. People left in clusters, gossip already buzzing. My parents screamed at me in the parking lot, told me I'd ruined Daniel's life, that I was dead to them. I went home alone, shaking, fully expecting to wake up the next day and be drowning in regret. Instead, I got a text from an unknown number a week later. It was Emily. She sent a long message saying she'd gone through his phone herself, found even more, and that if I hadn't spoken, she'd be legally tied to a man who saw her as a prop. She said, "You didn't ruin my wedding. You saved my life." My family still tells the story, like I'm the villain who destroyed a perfect day. Maybe from the outside, that's all. People see a sister who stood up in a church and blew everything up. But I was there when my brother bragged about locking her down while cheating. I saw the way he talked about her body like it was a joke. So no, I don't regret it. I can live with being the reason there was no happy ending that day. I couldn't live with watching her promise forever to someone who never intended to give it.